Other than Jesus Christ, Solomon was the wisest man who ever lived.
But unfortunately, he still made some really foolish decisions.
Solomon turned from God.
He began to follow false gods.
The Bible tells us that he had married many wives that led him into idolatry.
He had 1,000 wives and concubines.
That's 999 too many.
He began to think that he was glorious and the most important.
He built towers to the fake gods Baal, Ashtaroth, and Moloch.
The way you were supposed to worship those gods were to do terrible things.
So Solomon did those terrible things to worship false gods.
Why would someone so wise be so foolish?
It's important to understand that wisdom doesn't save you.
Only God can save you.
Solomon chose to be a fool even though he knew better.
A fool rejects wisdom God gives.
A fool rejects trusting in God.
A fool rejects God's existence.
For his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived
Ever since the creation of the world.
And things that have been made.
so they are without excuse.
God gives everyone the grace of knowing that He's real and He exists.
But why would anyone choose not to follow our glorious and gracious God?
Romans 1:21 answers that question.
For although they knew God, they did not honor Him as God, nor give thanks to Him.
But they became futile in their thinking, and their foolish hearts were darkened.
There are two things that causes someone to choose foolishness.
The first is not honoring God as God.
That means we don't take God seriously.
It means we don't worship God the way He tells us to.
It means that we think we know better than God.
The second thing that causes someone to choose foolishness is not being thankful.
Thankfulness?
Yeah, when we're not thankful for all the good things God has given us, we take God for granted.
When we are not thankful, our hearts grow hard towards God.
When we are not thankful, we turn to other things.
Romans 1:22 and 23 says, claiming to be wise, they became fools.
For images resembling mortal man and animals and birds and creeping things.
When we don't honor God as God and we're not thankful, we exchange God for idols.
What a bad deal!
That's what Solomon did.
Solomon had all the wisdom in the world, and he chose foolishness.
How can we make sure we're not foolish?
We need to honor God.
We need to recognize that He's awesome and we're not.
We need to be grateful for all the things God has given us.
We have a lot to be thankful for.
The biggest thing we have to be thankful for is Jesus Himself.
God loved us even when we dishonored Him and weren't grateful.
Jesus came and paid the price for all of our foolish sins.
When we put our trust in Him, we become part of His family.
Be wise. Trust Jesus with your life today.